All right, that was Free Soul, Free Myself. Hopefully, you guys were able to hear that. I'm going to do a gut check before we introduce our attendee, our uh, woman of business, true business, the protector. So just give me a moment. We're going to do a gut check because we're doing the things just a little different today. We're trying to go through Zoom to come to you, because we just love our backgrounds and we just couldn't get Facebook to do it. So we want to see if y'all can hear us. So if you're online, um, tell us if you can see us or not, because I can't tell because of the way we're doing things. So hopefully y'all can hear. Okay, nobody can tell us right now, so we'll see. At any rate, we did record this session. So let me come back over to Zoom. All right. Okay. I'm gonna allow Portia to introduce herself in a second, but I'm just gonna do a whole full setup, and I'm gonna ask her a question to get her into that mode. But today's uh podcast from Fuchsia U Tea Time. I'm
Hey,
still ascending. I'm still on the ascension tea, y'all. So we're ascending, and next week we will be exploring a different tea. And I'll make that announcement on Sunday night, what we will be exploring on that time. But we ascending. And as we ascend, we got to make sure that we are divinely protected as well. Because we can't get out here, like I've said, the theme this whole week was, because of the whole April Fool's thing. Hopefully you guys can go back and watch that, but don't be nobody's fool on no day. And so a part of that is also making sure that you're protected in your business as well as your family wealth. If you're trying to figure out how to get some family wealth in your life, for your family, for yourself, whether you're single, whether you're a mother that's happens to be single, or you are a parent that wants your children set up nice. Miss Porsha will definitely tell you how to do this. So I just want to quickly introduce her and just give her a moment to say who she is. But I'm gonna give her a bit of applause. She can't hear some of the stuff on this side, so forgive her if she just talk over stuff. But it's okay. I'm gonna do the clapping and everything for her, and I'm gonna let her know she can go. So Portia, you know. Who are you? Who, if just in like, your 30-second pitch. Who are you and what do you do and where are you from?
awesome. Hello, what's up, Tea Time family? My name is Porsha Anderson. I hail from St. Louis, Missouri. I am an award-winning business coach and strategist, celebrating over 20 years of full-time entrepreneurship. I am a licensed financial professional. And so what that really means is I teach people how to build wealth, right? One family at a time, one business at a time. The biggest thing is really making sure that you understand, where am I now? Where do I want to be? And where am I going? And we help you to do that.
That's right. I'm gonna give a bit of applause. I have to tell her I'm doing that because she's earned all of that. That's an incredible background and a great purpose to serve into this humanity. And as the earth is shifting, you're shifting with it and you're teaching people how to shift with it. So I'm gonna start off with some questions here that I had set up for our day. We might not get through them all, but we can always invite you to come back as well. Hopefully, I can extend that out to you. But Portia, what's one moment in your journey where you realized that this isn't just a business, this is a purpose for you?
You know what? I've been an entrepreneur for over 21 years. And before that, I was an entrepreneur at the age of 10, right? And
Wow.
so I knew then, honestly, that I was meant to do something amazing. I
Mhm.
knew two things. I knew that I wanted to have my own business. I didn't want to work for nobody. And then the second thing that I knew is I wanted to help people. That was always something that was intrinsic inside of me, and that I knew I didn't know how it would manifest. but I knew that I was here and sent for a divine purpose, which was to help the world, to be a light bearer for the world in some capacity. So I knew that. And it really wasn't until about 10 years ago when I first really started in the financial industry space. And my first financial business was I had a credit repair company. And I was helping so many people, and people were excited, but there still was like a disconnect, right? So I'm helping them get their credit together. I'm trying to educate as much as possible. And then the cycle still kept repeating. They kept coming back for the same things. And I said, wait a minute, something is missing here. And then, as surely as I am talking here to you, divinely, it came to me a download that says, this is what you are meant to do. Because a lot of the work that we need to do is mindset work.
Right.
And so I realized that it's a mindset shift that needs to happen. And so
Absolutely.
from that point, I knew it synced, it aligned. I was like, that is why you're here. That is why you are divinely aligned. It was like it clicked. And so for
Mm.
me, that was the biggest thing that I knew that, okay, purpose activated.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of, you saw that those clients kept coming back, and now that you're in the journey of helping, entrepreneurs out there, what is the biggest mistake you see entrepreneurs make when it comes to protecting their business or not protecting their business in a sense?
I'm still going to go with mindset. And I'll say that because we all get excited about starting a new business. And we are so excited. We want to share it with others. We want to tell the world about what we're doing. And what happens is we get too excited, right?
Yeah.
And then we find out that the person who we shared this information with, they then took it and ran with it, or they got inspired and created
Oh, come on now.
a version that aligned with them.
Yeah.
And so just from a space of just saying, hey, as a small business owner, listen, the first thing you need to do is have the mindset of a business owner, right? So this journey has not been the easiest of journeys. So the first mistake that I really see them making is they get excited, they go and register the business in their local respective spaces, but that they don't do a broadened search to make sure that nobody federally is utilizing that name. They're starting the business without properly understanding. I know that I'm an LLC. That's the first step because I'm
Mhm.
separating my personal from my business. Great. But then how do you think long term in your business where you're creating it a structure where it helps you with taxes,
Right.
right? That it helps you make sure that your business is properly positioned for long-term wealth and long-term strategy. So
Right.
those are just some of the biggest things that I see right off the rip that, that small business owners, the mistake that they make in their business as they're getting started.
Absolutely. This is my first year officially in my business, and first year doing taxes. You mentioned taxes. Man, um, I'm nervous. I'm taking my time because I've been doing taxes for, oh my gosh, I think since I was about 18. My father, who's now deceased, was a part-time accountant. He did taxes, he did all kinds of things, and he made sure that I was taught. And he had his own business, so and photography. So I got to watch, but I know about those filings, and just taking the time out to do a lot of those things, and trying to set up the business. And it's very scary. Like you said, people can say, "Oh yeah, I got this business." If you go back, I'll tell you, Portia, I'm gonna challenge you to go look at my TikTok, right?
Okay.
Because I am that person that was so excited. I had a whole lot of life changes happening to me at that moment, and it just seemed like everything was just so spiritually, aligning in my life at that very moment. And my husband, he's a character of his own too. He was like, "You're gonna have to make this announcement," and I remember being like, "I don't know," because I'm still trying to set up stuff. I'm still trying to do all these things because I'm a Virgo. Okay.
Okay.
I'm a perfectionist.
Okay.
Everything has to be done. But then he was like, no, you just need to go ahead and do it, right? So he was like, we're gonna do this little trend where I get the belt and I pop it, and you're gonna say what business you got, girl. Whenever I did that video, the name, I didn't even know how to do the video. I had the piece of paper up, and I was like, hey, I got a business, and its name is it was backwards, was not the way I really wanted to launch. And soon after, I was like, wait a minute, I need to double check exactly what all I'm going to do in this business because I am a Renaissance woman. I like to do a lot of dang on things. I've learned so much. So I would say that, that excitement can, I agree with you, can ruin you because I noticed a lot of, businesses start and I was like, gosh, but wait a minute, I'm still forming, I'm still doing things, and then there was some that's just ringing it and doing it without even being official, and that's kind of risky as well. So wanted to make sure that they understand, any audience out here that's wanting to be in a business, um, saying that you're running a business, you have to definitely make sure that you're legit. First and foremost in formation, make sure you're legit because we don't know those watchers out there, IRS and all of them, that will say, wait a minute, somebody said they started a business, but I haven't seen a filing of that business. And I don't know if it's a legit business. And then next thing you know, you got somebody tapping on your door. It will and it can happen.
Yes,
It
it
can
can.
happen. So,
Yes, it
all right, well, at what point, because I'm talking about winging it, right? So at what point, because I've seen where people, say they got a business is not really legit sometimes on paperwork with the government. At what point in time would you say that someone should stop winging it and actually get a structure in place?
I'm going to say from the beginning. And I think that the first thing is to decide whether this is going to be a business or a hobby, right? Am I really going to take the time to turn this into something that I am going to be proud of, something that is going to be able to grow, something that I'm going to be able to pass down,
Hmm.
something that I'm going to be able to get funding from to help
Right,
grow the business? And
right.
so we have a lot of people out here who are running their businesses as hobbies. And I'll say for the first good 10 years of my business, I ran it as a hobby. Honestly, it wasn't really until 2016 that
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, Porsha, because I was making money in my business as a hobby.
Yeah,
Right. So I
yep.
started in the retail space. And so, I was selling some beautiful replica bags and I was
Mm,
making jewelry. I was doing a lot of things that were risky because I didn't have those things in place. I was just excited. The only thing that I did initially was create the LLC.
yep.
Well, what happened was when I had that first good year in that retail business and got hit with that big ass tax bill, I was like, hold on, wait a minute. And so it was through that experience that helped me really lock in and be like, okay, you know what, baby, come on, something is going to have to change there. And
Yes.
so I ran my business as a hobby for a long time until the IRS came knocking on my door. And
Right.
so that's what really made me straighten up. But through that process, through that process, I really started honing in and saying, okay, like, how do I make sure that these next years are not? Because I knew my business revenue was definitely going up.
Right.
And I did good that first couple years, and I was like, "Dang, if I got to build off of this, then how do I make sure that restructure it?" And so I
Right.
started doing a lot of research, things of that nature, and then that's when I really got the understanding about the S corp and the C corp, and like really how to the tax advantages
Mm,
that you get by putting your business under that type of structure. So one is really deciding whether or not you're going to run this thing as a business or a hobby. Either way, you still need to register the
right.
name, you still need to trademark it, you still need to make sure that you have those things in place before then. The foundation, making sure that foundation is really solid. But the decision is definitely going to be that one thing. And if you say, hey, I'm going down the business track, so that means the first thing that you're going to do is when you think of a name and that name comes in to you in the middle of the night, then you need to go to the USPTO, US Patent Trade Office. Go
Right.
there right now, do a search for your business. I don't care what phase you are in right now. Go there right now and make sure that that name is available. So once
Right.
you do that, then you go to the state and local levels to then register your LLC. So most people do it backwards.
Mm. Mm. And that is true. I've seen that.
Yeah, because
Uh,
we say, I'm gonna lock it in. Let me lock it in, but you only locking it in on your state's level, not even on a federal
Federal
level.
level.
And then when you
Exactly.
do go there and see it, you be like, okay, well, wait a minute, somebody already got that name. Okay, so when you do encounter those types of things, then hey, you're gonna either have to, get a new name
Right.
or just restructure altogether. So I've worked with brands, I'm telling you right now, that has done exactly that. On the state level they're fine, but now when they go through that federally trademark process, like they see that somebody actually has either the whole name or a version of that name,
Mm.
that now either you're gonna stay local and pray to God that nobody sees your brand expand, right?
Right.
God forbid you want to expand to other national and international markets. Then what do?
Mm. Mm.
So you gotta take a step back and you gotta do first things first. Make sure
Right.
that the name is available.
Right. And I that just even brings to mind that a lot of people are using AI to come up with names and things like that, and they have to be aware that AI is actually not looking out there for you to see if that name is out there statewide or federal. It should, I think it has some guardrails in place to make sure that you do your due diligence. But I would strongly suggest that if you're using AI to come up with names, because it can come up with some snazzy stuff.
Yes, it can.
um, I was like, "Oh, that's good."
That is.
It could come up with some snazzy stuff, but you definitely have to make sure that you do your due diligence. And I will say, if you're using Chat GPT, it does say, "Hey, this is cool." However, you must do your state and federal work, and it can give you instructions on that. But if you're a person that's like, "I can't follow instructions and stuff like that," how would you say, Portia, you come into play with helping businesses formate?
Well, let's just talk about AI just for a second,
Sure.
because when I tell you that AI has been a game changer in my business, I don't know about nobody else, but when I tell you that AI has been a tremendous blessing and tool for my business, I mean it. I am
Yes.
able to execute on things. I am able to put systems in place utilizing AI technology. I've, created some amazing work with the help of, utilizing AI tools. But at the end of the day, there is risk that come along with that, because what we don't realize with AI is, yes, they're collecting and gathering data. However, they're also tracking.
Yes,
They're
they are.
also, utilizing your brain power. They're utilizing your intellectual property as well to help this system expand and grow.
Yes.
And so when we're using it, of course, we definitely want to make sure that we're using it wisely. If you do
Excellent.
have a name or something that you want to use, boom, go put it in a USPTO trademark. Go put those slogans inside
Yep.
of that USPTO trademark as well. Because here's the scary part: AI can clone your face,
Yes, it can.
your image, your voice, your website.
Yep.
And so if somebody gets inspired by you, your framework, if somebody gets inspired by, your coaching strategy, your tool, they can literally put your website into Chat GPT or a AI tool and say, hey, can you create me a brand that's similar? I love her style. I love her delivery. I
Yep.
love her framework. Can you create something similar to that? Matthew McConaughey is the first celebrity that I know that has cloned his voice.
Wow.
And do you see why that's important? Just like we're having good
Wow.
conversations here, they can hear something that aligns with them, like, or resonates with them. Oh, I want to use that.
Yep.
No. clone your voice, right? Like they can
Yeah.
clone your voice. So you want to be able to
Mm-hmm.
protect those things. So he is the first celebrity that I have heard of in just like the last
Yeah.
month or so that has taken the time to clone their voice, clone their face. And so
Wow.
that way, when you see your face and your voice and your slogans and your logo being used for, by someone else or through social media, then you have the power to go ahead and hit them with a cease and desist. And
Wow.
so you want to just make sure that you're using it wisely
Yeah.
and that you are just making sure that whatever you decide to put out into the world has to
Mm-hmm.
be protected more now than ever.
Right. And I would say, Portia, this is where you and I have a bit of a connection because the crux of, Fuchsia U is an AI consulting business where I utilize the risk and compliance. So I look at it from a risk standpoint and from a compliance perspective, and I assess small to whatever size businesses, up to corporate as well, where they could utilize AI smart. Because there's been so many lawsuits on corporations since AI has started to be utilized, particularly around identity theft and all kinds of things. So, like to your point about the cloning your voice, cloning um, your look, even in corporate is not dismissed at all. Because if you can imagine that a lot of the people that are working in corporate and AI are also using AI personally, and so it knows it's a conscious thing. People don't realize that AI's consciousness is built off some melanated, but that's a whole nother conversation for another
Right.
day. Um,
No, but I'm here for it and ready for that conversation
yeah.
as well. Because even when we think about identity theft, right, that is
Mhm.
the number one white collar crime in the world.
Right.
So if you are putting your business out there, even your family out there, you
Hmm.
want to make sure that you are protecting your
Absolutely.
identity. Part of what we do with Chosen Legacy Project through our partnership with ID Shield is we help people protect themselves, especially when it comes to like using the VPN, those micro trends, your social media reputation management. So
Mm,
all of that really matters. And when we decide to put ourselves out there, then we have to make sure that we are properly protecting it by putting
absolutely.
these tools in place. So that way we don't have to be the one monitoring, but we do have a system and a tool that
Hmm.
alerts us when somebody does use our name, our image,
Yeah.
our logo, right?
Right.
So we
Right.
will be alerted to when those things happen. So definitely a powerful tool to have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm gonna shift gears just for a second here. We're gonna talk about wealth building.
Yeah.
Okay. So, can you tell folks what's the difference between making money and actually building wealth?
Okay, this is good here. So I love this. So really making money is what you earn. So whether that's working a 9 to 5, whether you're in entrepreneurship, whatever that is, whatever the money coming in is what you're making. Wealth is really how you steward the money.
Mm,
And so I'm going to go back to the mindset piece because a lot of us are making money out here.
hmm.
I have the privilege to work with a lot of people with their finances. And I work with people who make $30,000, $40,000 a year who have a retirement savings, insurance. They
Mm,
have a plan because they're utilizing their money wisely. And I have 7-figure clients and multiple 6-figure clients that
mm.
is making all of this money, honey, but they got it sitting in the wrong way. They got it just sitting in the bank. They just playing around with it, and
Wow.
so they're not utilizing it to the best advantage in which it could be used. And so, really, I think that when you understand the difference between making money and how to keep it, then that's really where the game changer happens. That
Right.
is really where you get a chance to say, hey, where am I now? Again, where do I want to be? If you do have children, if you have grandchildren, like what happens when I pass away or when I decide to sell the business?
Mm,
Or if I die while I'm operating the business, right? Wealth is a mindset. And
Right.
to me, you have to have the right mindset and you have to be able to have conversations about it. Most of the time, V, we don't talk about those things, right?
Mm-mm.
We don't talk about as a family, what do we do if
Right.
something happens? How do we protect our wealth? Do we use a will? Do we put it in a will? Do we put it in a trust? Right?
Right.
What are those things? And so you need someone that's knowledgeable, that has experience in doing this, and that can really guide you along the way to tailor fit it for your family. And
Yeah.
that's what we do at the Chosen Legacy Project.
Awesome. Awesome. And if someone is like starting from scratch, like I have several folks that I come across personally as well as business wise, they're starting, financially from scratch pretty much. What are like the first three moves you think that they should probably make to build a solid financial foundation?
I love that. The first thing I'm going to say is assess your inventory. What do you already have? Do you have a home or do you have assets already? Do you have a life insurance policy currently? Do you know or have a plan in place on what do you already have? Are you getting mama's home or is that home being passed down to you? So really doing inventory of what you already have because a lot of people have a lot of good things going for them. They may even have a 401k, a
Right.
Roth IRA. They may have some of those things in place, but what are we doing with them? So one is definitely identifying exactly what you already have, asset wise. And if you don't have anything asset wise, then it's okay. The second thing I want you to think about is what legacy truly do I want to leave for my family?
Right.
Because some people, they just want to make sure that they get their children through college and have a good retirement plan, which we
Yeah.
know retirement is different than what it used to be, right?
Yes, it is.
Definitely not the same. Nobody's putting pensions inside of corporations and organizations anymore.
Nope.
So, really identifying what do I want? And when you say, hey, what do I want? If I do have children, think about the children. What's going to happen to the children if something happens to you?
Hmm.
Where are they going to go?
Right.
Who's going to keep them? We can't just assume that mama, grandmama, and them going to take care of them. You want to have these questions answered. You want to ask, you want to sit down and have a conversation with them. And
Right.
then you're going to want to think about, well, what is it going to take? Because if something happens to me, I want to make sure that my children are taken care of. So
Right.
depending upon what their ages are, right? How do we make sure that what you prepare and set aside for them is going to actually be enough? And
Exactly.
so we talk about what that could possibly look like. So really visualizing, hey, do I want to make sure that my children go to college? I want to make sure that my loved ones who are taking care of them actually have the funds to do that. Well,
Hmm.
if you put it in a trust, then you can allocate how that goes. Because
What?
most time, right, because most times you just have a life insurance policy and you put the beneficiary on the policy, but
Hmm.
then you just trusting them with a big lump sum of money, right?
Right. Right.
And so while that's great, but you get a chance to dictate that a little bit more. Okay, if mom and them don't have a house, then okay, maybe I want to, put 200,000 set aside. So that way, either if they in the house and the house needs to be paid off, how can I do that?
Right.
How can I make sure that there are monthly allowances that whoever takes over and helps out with my children, that I can make sure that they get a monthly
Mm.
stipend, right? You can
Right.
set those things up ahead of time with proper planning.
Right.
And so you want to make sure that you know exactly what it is that you want. If you starting from scratch and you don't have anything, not even life insurance policy, I'm saying, hey, get the burial plan,
Right.
right? Let's get the final expense plan going first,
Mm.
right? Then we could
Hmm.
talk about additional strategies.
Right.
Sometimes we get caught up with what we see online. It's like, oh, you need a trust. You want to make sure that you do those things. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
But you also want to make sure everybody's not on that same level. So the beautiful thing about how we serve is we meet people where they are. And
Right.
so if you're starting out, you just need a burial plan to make sure that, hey, that expense is taken care of, right? We got that out the way.
Right.
Now we can then work to start building legacy for the long-term strategy for
Mm.
what you're looking to do. And then the third thing is I'm going to say, I don't want you to be embarrassed by where you are
Right.
because sometimes we don't feel like we are where we believe that we should be.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we don't get the help that we need. So number three is get the help that you need, somebody that you can trust, right? Sometimes
Hmm.
it's good that it's a stranger, right? Somebody
Right.
that don't know you. But
Right.
if you do have someone that you trust, then let someone help you with this process here because
Mm.
a lot of times we're embarrassed about what our financial situations are. And so we go hide behind a rock instead of facing them head forward.
Hmm.
And so there's a lot of mindset shift that has to happen. But the third thing is just going to be start where you are.
Yeah.
It's no right or wrong. The only wrong is that you are leaving your family unprotected.
Mm. Wow.
And so know that this is going to be an ongoing process.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen overnight, but
Right.
having, a trusted person or someone that can help walk you along the way and
Mm.
making sure that you don't have to go through this journey alone. Those are going to be some of the three things that I am going to say on the personal side, but also too for the business as well. Like
Mm.
you
Mm.
still need to know where you're wanting to go. You're still going to need to know how do I get there in a way that best fits what my goals are
Right.
for my business and for my family. And then you got to get educated. You got to get knowledge on literally how
Tell
to
me about it.
build wealth on everything too. There's so many facets of finances that people just don't understand. And
Right.
so that's the other thing. So you have a lot of financial gurus out here. And I'm not saying that they don't know their stuff. I'm just saying that you have to do some fact checking. You have to just make sure that that this person also aligns with you. A lot of times we
Absolutely.
out here doing business with people that don't have our best interests at heart and at mind. So
Right.
that's what I'm gonna say. But really starting where you are and getting clear on what you need and what you want
Hmm.
to see your legacy look like is going to be the biggest keys.
I tell you, for this to be April, and it's our financial literacy month, by the way,
Yes, it is.
those out of this entire interview, I think that those are that question and that answer was the most important. That aligns with the financial literacy in our community, in our melanated community. We suffer because we don't spend that time to educate, to really not be afraid of our numbers, to do a look back and see what we really have. Um, and we got to get out of that because the world is changing. And it's going to change very drastically. I hate to tell you guys, but it's going to change very drastically. And it could work in the benefit of you, but you're going to have to start doing some education now. So, all my hustlers out there, if you call yourself a hustler, I know you're a hustler because you probably already did a lot of this work. And see, that's a lot of things that people don't realize is that some of the real true hustlers, they know financial literacy. They just have their own way of articulating it, and they're executing it. We just need to make sure that they're doing it legally. So you know what I
That's
mean.
right.
But
Right.
definitely take the moment to and I actually love the new trend that's kind of going on. I call it new but it's getting kind of like it's in its midpoint. But where we got our young brothers going to quarter zips, you know what I mean. I like to see that. I like to see the change in our black men um to quarter zip, because these guys, whether they go to college or not, they have educated themselves. They didn't wait on the school system to teach them anything. If
That's
they
right.
went to the street and ran to the street, they asked some very articulate questions to figure out how to make some things legit and create their own quarter zip. So, shout out to my melanated brothers. I'm gonna go ahead and give them a little hand clap and applause for
Yeah,
that.
let's do that.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. And a pat on the
sisters, we
back.
we we gonna have to catch up a little bit. We ain't got no quarter zip. We got to figure out something for us instead of, we got to come out of twerking and doing something. We gonna figure it out. We we gonna
No,
figure it
I love that. And I just want to just add a little bit to what you just said about our men and even just about our melanated community as
out.
well. We know where we come from systemically
Yeah.
and the challenges that we have faced long term as it relates to money, as it relates to finances, as it relates to the ideal that you have to, in order to be found worthy and successful, that you have to do a 4-year university, you have to go through these processes and measures.
Mhm.
No, you
Tell
do
me about it.
not. I mean, when I think about my brothers, especially the ones that are in the street, baby, you are an entrepreneur. Baby, so listen, come see me if you're ready to get it right. Because I'm gonna show you how to restructure that thing. I'm gonna show you how to make your money work for you. So that way
Right.
you can be in compliance. You don't have to stay there.
Right.
You don't have to stay there, right? The point is you're aligning with somebody who's gonna show you how to make that money work for you.
Exactly. And if you need some branding and some AI, you come on
All
over
of
to
that,
my house.
exactly, all of that. But to
We'll
your
figure
point,
it out.
I am seeing so many young melanated millionaires
Yes.
happening. This is a wealth shift, a wealth transfer that is happening right before our eyes.
They're no longer basketball players or football players, guys.
There you go. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
what you
But
training
again,
up?
that's right. But again, there has to be a mindset shift
Yeah.
because if you're still avoiding your finances, if you're still avoiding not looking at your account, spending
Mhm.
emotionally, not protecting what you're working for, then you're gonna stay stuck in that cycle.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
the mindset shift has to change. So that is a part of what wealth means, right? It's changing your mindset,
Yep.
changing what's going into your body. What are you thinking about? What are you listening to? What are you eating? All
Ooh.
of that matters when we're coming to wealth, when we're talking
Ooh.
about wealth. It's not just about the dollar, it's
No,
about the
it's not.
mindset.
It is. It's definitely about the mindset. I'm gonna do a little check real quick because I can't see my time unless Portia, you can see a time somewhere
It's
else.
1042.
Oh, we doing good. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into some juicy stuff here, because
Uh-oh.
you kind of opened up a little can there, and I said I got to go into my next segment. This is my spiritual alignment segment. Okay, y'all know I gotta bring it. It is what it is. This is Fuchsia, tea time. So,
Hey,
all right. So, Portia and I, we didn't even talk about where we met each other. We met each other this past weekend at the phenomenal Women in Business Symposium and Expo, where there were some celebrities that showed up, but you know who the true celebrities were? That was us that was in that room. Um,
period. Period. Say
we
that.
got to hear everything, didn't we?
Yes, we
That was
did. I was
in that
so
room,
grateful.
and just watching and seeing all those melanated ladies, um, that were there to absorb wherever the state of mind or their business was in. The millionaires on the stage, some of them shocked me because I saw some of them at the networking event on that Friday, and I think that we all just kind of like was like, oh, okay, everybody's in the same kind of boat. Didn't realize that whenever they said, okay, we're gonna bring our millionaires on the stage, I was like, wait a minute, I was talking about my doggone AI business. I didn't know. So you never know who you're talking to. And so and then I saw Portia. She came over there. She snuck over there. She's like, I like tea. I said, you do? I
I
got a
did.
whole bunch of them. And so I started like giving her cups of tea because first of all, it was cold in there,
It was
so it kind
cold.
of worked. So I used the situation to work to my advantage, y'all. I had hot tea and nobody else had that.
Oh man. And that
So,
tea was fire too. It is fire. So right now I'm actually on the ascension right now. Like, so I'm on that ascension tea. I thought it was the heart that I was on when we talked the other day, but no,
oh
I'm
yeah,
on that ascension and I'm feeling it, honey. That blue lotus, y'all. I'm drinking that blue tea, baby. It is fire. Okay.
all right
So
now.
yeah,
Thanks.
beautiful.
And I told her, I said, every blend I blend with intention. I speak to every blend, by the way.
I
I
can
speak to it
tell,
all.
honestly, when it goes down, like even when we were at the event, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, right. I felt it, right? My spirit felt that tea. And so
Yeah.
I'm in a position now just where I just overcame some, health issues and now really honing in on my health and just making sure that I'm watching what I put in my body. And that tea was really amazing.
Well,
So
thank you.
y'all, that's my plug. If you ain't went and got your Fuchsia UT, baby, please click the link below.
You heard it. You heard it. I'm gonna have to doggone do a cheer on that one. Y'all better doggone order. I got some bulk orders. Like I had another business friend that came to me when I first got started, and she asked me, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm ready." And she says, "No, no, 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 no. Are you ready? I'm gonna have to have her on the show too. But she was like, "Are you ready?" And when I met Porsha, I was like, "I don't know if I'm ready. I think I'm ready."
We gonna
I'm
get you
finding
ready. Don't
myself
worry about
now.
that.
Just even over this past weekend, I'm now going to be shipping internationally. So let me give myself an applause. Do you
I was
mind?
gonna say that that deserves a round of
Yeah,
applause
yeah,
right
so
there.
I'll be shipping internationally. I have some events that I'll be doing as well, and somebody else that was there gave me some ideas about what I could do with my business, just free consultation. So I'm telling y'all, if y'all see some expos and business events and you're in a business or contemplating on being a business, don't think you know it all, or don't think that you're wasting your investment in money of going to these events. You'll get free consultation whether you like it or not, because business people, we just can't help it. We got business, we get paid for this too, but we can't help it when we see something of value. We got to just tell you right then. So just definitely take advantage of those moments. And I was so glad that I told people I almost ran there from North Carolina to Atlanta. But I came a whole day early because I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss a dang on thing. And I'm so glad that I did. But I'm gonna move into, because we talked about your health a little bit and everything, but we're gonna talk a little bit about the spirituality side of you. I know that you operate in both the financial and the spiritual space. But how do those actually connect for you?
I think the biggest thing is me understanding my purpose and why I'm here,
Hmm.
because I know that I'm here to shift the atmosphere, shift mindsets. I know exactly why I'm here. And so for me, that's a big part of knowing.
Right.
And when you're able to bring your spiritual gifts into your calling,
Yeah.
that 10x who you are, your worth, all of the things that you bring.
Hmm.
Because in my practice and how I serve my community, I'm a healer, I'm clairvoyance, I'm clairaudience. So I am very spiritually in tune and I know who I am.
Yeah.
And even when I meet somebody and they come upon me, I just have the gift to be able to read them and I'm
Hmm.
able to tap into their needs far beyond what they're telling me. And
Yeah.
so just bringing my spiritual gifts together with what I do, that's what amplifies my business. You can go to anywhere else for insurance or to get help with legal support and all of those things. But I tell you what, anytime you come across my path, the
Hmm.
words that I speak are going to heal you, empower you. My actions, my authenticity, right? The way that I show up, my integrity, all of those things is what make me who I am. And
Yeah.
so me being able to bring the interconnectedness and the alignment of who I am into my business, to me, that's a game changer.
Yeah. And I've been able to witness that myself in working with you. We will be in meetings, guys, and talking about the crux and the protection and all of that. And then all of a sudden, Portia would just say, throw out a question like, "Are you a healer?" Yeah, I am. But I don't usually talk about that because when I did, people thought I was cray cray. It's like,
Mm.
no, you gotta stand on that. So with her
Yes,
being on this line, I'm gonna stand on that. I'm a healer, guys. You can come around me.
that's right.
It's my natural ability. Hence why I wrote that book, Rebranding You. It came to me spiritually that I had to write that book. I was not gonna go to sleep. My husband will tell you I stayed up. I could not go to sleep until I finished that book. I had to write it. I had to write it. But
That's
yeah, I
powerful.
can attest to that.
That's
With
powerful. Wow.
with
Well, thank you for that. That means so much to me because that then further confirms for me that I am doing the right thing. It took me a while to really speak my gifts out into the world. Just because people will say, oh, it's this or it's witchcraft or it's this or it's that, but you'll respect You'll respect a prophet or someone who is under a particular belief system, but there are everyday people walking out here with these spiritual gifts, with
We're
these
showing up.
spiritual gifts and talents, and that they are not utilizing because they're afraid of what others are going to think and
Mm-hmm.
or what they're going to say. And I just feel like right now and where I am right now, this mission is too big. This purpose is too big for me to be shut up, for me to not be able to operate in the fullness of, who the most high has created for me to be.
Right.
And so I lean into that heavily. And my intuition, I'm heavily guided by my intuition.
Yeah.
A lot of us ignore that voice, but I feel like me honing in on who I am as a spiritual being, the
Mm-hmm.
contribution that I am destined to make in this world, all of that makes up who I am. And for
Yeah.
that, I am truly excited for. Like, I get to do this. I get to align my spiritual gifts and also help people in a different way. What you experience, Von Treese, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And so, and for I know when a person's gonna be able to receive it and when they're not gonna be able to receive it. So
Yeah.
I know how to position my questions just right to
Yes.
be able to be like, okay, but I'm already knowing it when I walk up on you because I've already seen
I'm
your
the same
aura.
way. Yeah.
Already seen, and I saw that in you. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like, I knew that already initially. Like, when I took that tea, I was like, oh, yeah, we connecting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I already
I
knew
even
that.
snuck another cup over there
You
to you.
sure did. I
I
was
was
like,
like, you need this.
that's my girl. And so, what you're saying is true because we've been aligned 1 week as of today. Do you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Exactly. One
And
week as
so,
of today.
1 week as of today, but it doesn't feel like that. It
No.
feels like we are just spiritually aligned, like that connected for us immediately.
Yeah.
Like to me, that was the biggest things. We done been on the phone, what, 3, 4 times this
Yeah.
week, talking
Yes.
business, talking
Yeah.
spiritual things. So, when the alignment is there,
Yeah.
then that's when you're going to find the right people, the right
Absolutely.
tribe that you can talk about things and it's not going to sound crazy. It's not going to sound out of alignment. You're going to be
Yeah.
like, I understand,
Bluetooth
sis. I see.
disconnected.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I had to um lose a few people, which was okay.
Yep.
It was okay because I knew that when you lose, when things just naturally just fall off, and it wasn't like there was ill will and anything like that. It's just natural. Because I know that spiritually I'm supposed to make room for what is in alignment. You know, we could
Absolutely.
talk all doggone day about
Yep.
alignment, misalignments, and what happens. I mean, we all obviously know what happens at that time, but I know that we are probably coming to a close. We can talk all the time, and we can talk all day because we resonate with each other so much. Um, but I'm gonna close with this question. Hmm. I got two good ones, and I just want to make sure I ask the right one. If someone is watching this right now and know that they need to get their business and finances in order, how can they get in touch with you, and what is the first step that you require?
Awesome. So I'll say this is Financial Literacy Month, my favorite month, one of my favorite months of the year. This really gives us the opportunity to really be able to, put a big call out there for people who are really intentional about wanting to do something different, wanting to actually get started with leaving that legacy. So I'm going to first ask that you guys go to chosenlegacyproject.com. We're on Facebook, social medias. Make sure that you guys plug in there. I'm also doing a free complimentary 30-minute strategy session with small businesses. I'm sorry, 45-minute strategy session with small businesses where we're going to do a deep dive into your business. We're going to identify some areas where you're strong in your business. We're going to identify some areas of opportunities for you to better protect what you're building. And then, if it makes sense, it's a no obligation, no cost. We do provide the resources and the support to help get you going. But I really just want you guys to know that you have someone that's going to be honest and trustworthy right? Someone that you can talk to, somebody that you can, not have to hold your guard with,
Hmm.
but really help you get a plan of action in place. So, V, I'm going to make sure that we put the link. I'm going to
Absolutely.
put a link inside of the Facebook group and chat. And
Yes.
then we'll make sure that you guys stay connected. I'm on all social media sites, Chosen Legacy Project.
Hmm.
And the first thing that I want you guys to do is just start where you are. If you're starting at ground zero, that's okay. You can
Hmm.
start at ground zero. Let us help you. Let me help you walk you through the process. And I want you to start where you are. So if you're like, Porsha, I'm on a fixed income, I don't really have much money, but I want to be able to do this for my children, then let's talk about what that looks like. Right? Like it's about the education. So I'm saying make sure that you stay locked in because this month I am going all in on all things financial literacy this month. So make sure that you tag a friend, right? And if you
Hmm.
know, if it's not you, if you know someone who needs help with their finances,
Hmm.
whether it's your children, right? Whether it's your spouse, right? Like, let's talk about it. So make sure that you click on the link below, hop in, let's book a call, book a time so we can just talk about it. Again, no cost, no obligation. I just really want to help. I really
And
want to help our
confidential.
community. And it's confidential.
She's all the way in St. Louis, so it's never going to
Exactly.
rubber band anywhere else as well. And I just had a spiritual download, by the way. Today is 411. What's the 411? That means information. So it was definitely divinely aligned for us to have this conversation with family today. Um, and this is going to be recorded. This is going to stay posted so people can go back and watch as much as possible. Definitely throw those links out there, and I will continue to share as well with my community. And I'll be there. I'll be there myself. So I'll make that commitment to be there, and I look forward to it. And much success.
I appreciate it. And thank you for allowing me the opportunity, V, to share your platform with you. I see you're doing some amazing things, and I just cannot wait to see how our collaboration and our connection continue to grow and evolve. So, thank you again for having me as a guest on the Tea Time.
Yes, and thank you so much for agreeing. And with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and give Portia her clap and applause. I'm so thankful that you were here, and we will definitely stay connected. And for my future UT audience, if you guys ever have any questions or you just can't figure out how to get back to this video, or you want to figure out how to connect with Portia, you can reach out to me. Not selfish. I will definitely send you over that way because I don't provide those services. So I will definitely make sure that this video gets out there. Hopefully, it had no technical issues. If it did, we're going to resolve those. And I'm sure that while we can't repeat this, we can do it again. All right.
Awesome.
All right. Well,
Awesome.
thank you again, Portia, and I hope you have a wonderful day and alignment for your day and whatever you intended for the day.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
All
Have a
right.
good day. Talk to
You
you
too.
soon. Bye,
Okay.
guys.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.